Hello, dear friends. There is no food more rejuvenating than a silent mind. Jacobo Greenberg. Opinion piece. Quantum leap. Acceleration. Transmutation. Metamorphosis. No more delays. The sign of gold. Defeat of dark side. Great universal plan. Silence before change. 0 hour approaches. The end will be tumultuous. Let's start. A quantum leap is an abrupt and instantaneous change in the physical state of a system, as well as a drastic shift in consciousness, perception, or individual evolution. This occurs when a human being experiences a profound transformation that takes him to a higher state of understanding that increases his frequency. That is an expansion of consciousness that doesn't exclude a physical event, a change in perception that produces a spiritual awakening. A great change is underway that has been announced for many thousands of years, according to Kara through James McConnell. Times are approaching when everything is about to explode, what we might call chaos. The entire three-dimensional illusion must collapse, but if it were to collapse suddenly, many would not be able to withstand this abrupt change. As the frequency continues to rise across the planet, so does consciousness. The great universal plan is underway. That plan is unstoppable and is moving forward exactly as it should. As that change approaches, it brings more spectacle to showcase, and it also brings an energy that will catapult society to begin awakening to that higher consciousness, which will also awaken many more to their own ascension process. No more delay. The transition has begun, according to the Council of Seven through Celia Wilder. The massive energy sweeping the Earth is catalyzing a rapid and profound shift within the human collective, as an increased number of individuals move toward a greater understanding of their existence and purpose. The great shift is defined as a significant transformation that involves leaving behind an old structure or paradigm and opening to a transformed reality, driven by shocks or crises, but with the potential for profound renewal. It is often accompanied by shocks or challenges, but it doesn't necessarily imply the end, but rather the beginning of a renewed stage full of possibilities. Reset news. The storm has begun. The bank silence is not ignorance, but confirmation. This isn't a shutdown. It's a reset. It's camouflage for a massive restructuring. Global banks are being restructured to integrate digital asset settlements with military-grade encryption. According to Steve Biko, the US is under a war protocol, and the federal structure is crumbling from within, with the Supreme Court stripped of its power. Unconfirmed reports suggest that the Supreme Court no longer has authority under the protocol activated by the Commander-in-Chief. RFK Jr. promises to stop the Davos Forum. In quotes, their plan, which they call the Great Reset, will empty everything left in your bank account. They have a plan, but my plan is to stop them. According to Julian Assange, all forces in the world are preparing to suspend the services of communications, internet, telephone, and television. Emergency services will remain active, but everything else is about to go dark. During this time, there will be no internet or ATMs, and only phones for 911 calls will work. According to Mr. Poole, 0 hour is approaching. The system is locked down. The final Space Force test transmission was successfully received and verified on all continents. All backup channels are confirmed. Global media networks have been quietly reassigned under emergency communication protocols. Those in the know call this the silence before the switchover. When the final order is given, the internet will freeze for several minutes while the new network takes over. It will reset every account under the quantum framework. There will be no interruptions, only revelation. Redemption. No one will have access to your funds until you receive payment to level 4B, which are internet groups. Maxira confirms that level 4B does not require registration, stating that banks will seek out exchange platforms. Level 4B represents conscious beings, those who studied, prepared, and refused to submit to the debt machine. They are not elite, they are the builders of the new world. According to Bruce, a conference call was held between the Treasury and the banks regarding the Basel default last Wednesday. Some banks had also shorted silver. There will be a bank liquidation. Payments have begun according to Paul Gold Eagle. The Treasury circumvented the Fed and activated level 4B disbursements using quantum access cards. These cards, backed by physical gold, are immune to tampering and linked to personal records. Stay alert. Avoid scams. Protect your currency. Trust only verified level 4B communications. The media blackout won't stop what's coming. When the quantum reset of the global financial system is activated, there will be at least 144 countries' currencies backed by gold and assets. This is the final stage. The real-time control networks are being erased. The blackout will come, then the transmission, then the awakening. When the light returns, the system won't belong to them. It will belong to us. Financing. Trump mentioned XRP as the first strategic reserve cryptocurrency, according to Paul White Gold Eagle. I don't trust in any cryptocurrency. Gold surpassing $4,300 isn't finance, it's flight. Fraud with fiat currencies is disappearing. Tangible value is returning. People are escaping the paper matrix. The UN has suspended the carbon tax. It's postponed it for another year. Soon they won't even talk about it. The parallel economic system is eclipsing the central bank. The burgeoning parallel economic system is rapidly gaining ground and eclipsing the traditional central bank model. This implies a fundamental shift, with new financial structures emerging that challenge and replace the established order. Opinions. The imperial propaganda machine is crumbling like never before. They are on the defensive. That's never happened before. We have a chance to win this, according to Caitlin Johnstone. They won't be working so hard to reinforce narrative control if they hadn't lost it. The next tribunals will reflect historical precedents to demand accountability paralleling Nuremberg, according to John Michael Chambers, Juan O'Sabin, and Lieutenant Colonel Matt Meck. This isn't a speculation. It's a structural breakdown of the mechanism already in place. The silent war is over, and the era of public accountability has begun. Now that the No Kings protest is over, they are trapped and don't know how to get out. The 9th peace agreement is approaching. It's going to be complicated. There could even be an alarming event, but in the end there will be peace. Everything is going according to plan, to the famous plan, or the divine plan. The Apocalypse Watch team applauds the efforts of the non-King's protesters, highlighting the courage and determination they displayed in demonstrating for the constitutional ideals that everyone else already supports, just for a paycheck. Economy. Canada is turning to its pension system to boost domestic investment. UK debt reaches a 5-year high and its tax burden increases. Banks' play on the price of silver is causing them to fall. High volatility is expected in the coming weeks. When it exceeds $60, the House of Cards will collapse. Gold is fighting the financial control grid to escape the digital prison, according to Greg Hunter. Ukraine. According to Colonel Douglas MacGregor, Zelensky is a puppet of the rich. British Storm Shadow missiles launched at Russia. This could be the reason for the cancellation of Putin's meeting with Trump in Hungary. 2 oil refineries in Hungary linked to Russian oil supplies attacked. Middle East. Hamas blames Israel for the collapse of the Gaza ceasefire. Israeli warplanes carry out a new airstrike on Rafah, south of Gaza. Israeli National Security Minister Ben Gvir wants the war to continue after receiving the hostages. The Israeli regime has committed at least 80 violations since the Gaza Trust Agreement went into effect. Israel demanded that the US declare war on Iran, according to Alex Jones. Iran's intelligence minister claims that 50 intelligence agencies assisted Israel during the 12-day war against Iran, describing it as a large-scale hybrid operation aimed at balkanizing the country and seeking regime change. Hidden battle over Gaza, according to Cassie B. The conflict is driven by control of energy and trade routes. Israel has blocked the development of the Gaza marine gas field, which represents an economic lifeline for the Palestinian people. It also wants to build the Ben Gurion Channel as a rival to the Suez Channel. Asia. China accuses the US of carrying out cyber attacks on the Beijing National Time Center. The US-Australia critical minerals deal opens a gap with China. The US signs an agreement with Australia for access to rare earths. The discovery of 40 tons of gold in China is revolutionizing the markets. The US orders China to obey economic demands while the Netherlands panics over Beijing's fury, according to Xinfu. Europe finds itself in a difficult situation, entangled between its economic ties with China and its dependence of both China and Russia for critical minerals. China is negotiating with Japan and South Korea on a trilateral currency swap. Americas. Banks seek guarantees to back Argentina's $20 billion bailout. Dollars, of course. The Argentine peso has fallen to a historic low against the dollar and has plummeted 99.8% since 2009. The US has informed its allies of an imminent attack against Venezuela. More than 20,000 Maduro troops are deployed in western Venezuela. Night Stalker helicopters have been seen flying in Venezuela. This elite unit specializes in the insertion of Navy SEALs and Delta forces. The US carried out its 8th airstrike against a suspected narco-terrorist ship since August in the Eastern Pacific for the first time. Fox News host Sean Hannity floated the idea of Venezuela becoming the 51st state in cooperation with leader Maria Corina Machado. Venezuela has served as a drug corridor for 20 years, a hub for human trafficking. Protected by fake NGOs and foreign money, it became a logistic center for the elite's network of control in Latin America. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.